All right, it's Sunday. Ho! The Lord's Day. This is going to be a rant video. I've blown it now with the Get to Know the Northman. I'm going to do a couple videos. I just got to figure out what I want to talk about. I've got a lot of stuff going on with trying to set up a new business and getting my season ready. Got to get, all my ducks in a row for taxes, which isn't a super difficult thing to do, but it takes time, and been doing some other stuff too, but I'll get that out there. But anyhow, I wanted to talk today. I don't know if I've done a video on this or not, but it is something that I want to touch on because it does pertain to us as far as business and entrepreneurship, as well as just being a successful employee with a company. Everything of value, everything material, labor-centric, labor-focused, talent, skill, attractiveness, whatever the case may be. Everything of value is actually based on exclusion, and I'll say that again. Or it's based on not enough, okay? Now I'm going to touch on, it's important that we don't have a famine mentality mindset, because if we start thinking like there's not enough for us and there's no reason for us to try to pursue and gain wealth and be successful, then we're just stuck in that rat trap of just status quo, which is sad. But the reality is that everything of value is actually based on exclusion. It's actually based on a small limited number of people are able to facilitate those roles for whatever reason, and that's what makes it valuable. Here's a great example of that. The NBA, the NFL, okay? The reason why the average median salary in the NFL, I think the league minimum in the NFL is $500,000. Now, if you're making $500,000 in the NFL, this is very interesting. You're like fourth string. You're like the biggest piece of shit on the team. You're the guy who barely made it and they need a role player for practice. You're probably bringing the good players water, but you're making $500,000 a year. Why? Because even that person who's a piece of shit in comparison to any stud who's actually starting and making, the average salary in the NFL is $1.5 million. I believe it's 1.5 or 1.2, the average median salary. That's because guys like Brady and other high-paid athletes, they jack that rate up. But the point is this: if you're making the league minimum, which I believe is $500,000 a year, I could be wrong, and that's all you're making, you're a piece of shit athletically. But you as a piece of shit, in comparison to the other athletes in the NFL, you're a piece of shit. But in comparison to the rest of the nation, you're damn near a god. You're damn near somebody who can do, you're almost like Spider-Man. I mean, literally, in the pro level, in the level of actual men among men, you're a piece of shit. But to every other person in the nation, you are literally the 1%. You are literally the stud. The same goes for the NBA. I don't know what the league minimum is, the NBA. I think it may be higher, I'm not sure. But the piece of shit bench rider in the NBA who's just there to help the starting team practice, that guy is an absolute stud compared to me, compared to you, all 5 of you watching, is an absolute stud. And guess what that means? That means the NBA and the NFL and every other situation like that, like those industries, is based on exclusion. If everyone could do it at the level of LeBron James, it wouldn't be shit. This is important to understand, and this is why it's a rant. I'm getting fired up. I did a video kind of about this already, which was invest in, I forget the title of it. Focus on what builds your value to others and not your interest. There's a delusional thought going through our society where we should let kids and adults pursue what they want to do because it makes me feel good. Yeah, that's all stupid. That's all dumb. Most people don't even develop their true ability to exercise caution, evaluate danger until you're 25 years old. You don't even have the ability to really even know what's going on. And in fact, there's a guy that goes to my church who went a couple years ago to his kid's school, and the assistant principal gave a speech and said, basically, it's your job as a parent to make sure they survive to 25, because that's when, I don't know what part of the brain it is, but that's when that part of your brain actually becomes fully developed, where you can, in fact, really understand danger, caution, etc., etc. And even then, some of us still don't, because I probably just figured it out about 5 years ago. So that's not even true all the time. But the point is, until we are in that situation as human beings where we can really understand danger and understand caution, we really can't understand our place in society and in the tribe. And I'm going to get off topic here real quick. That's why a lot of people don't realize the word infantry actually means and/or comes from the word that means child soldier. And the reason they wanted children as soldiers is because kids will do whatever the fuck you tell them to do, and they don't have any logic or understanding of how dangerous it is what they're going into. So that's the whole, that's the root behind the word infantry. It means child soldier. It's much more difficult to get a fully fledged human being to disregard danger and loss than it is a child, okay? And that's important, because when that aspect of your mind and of your soul and your body develop to where you can really understand danger and you really start to develop caution and really an analytical process to risk and reward, you start to take the steps towards really developing who you are as a person, okay? Here's my point. Although that's true, everything's based on exclusion, which means if you have this group of people, I kind of got off topic, but it ties in. If you have this group of people who don't know what the hell they're doing, which is in that high school age and even into college, have no idea where they're going, this lie that you can go be whatever you want to be, it isn't true, because again, everything is based on exclusion. If you're a 5'10" white male with 90% slow twitch muscles, you're going to do nothing athletically involving running, jumping, agility, fast twitch explosiveness. You can do nothing at a rate or at a level that is worthwhile professionally or even at a high level competitively. Now, if you're 5'10" and you got a lot of slow twitch, you could become a very successful power lifter, because, you know, slow twitch is actually better at moving heavy objects than fast twitch. Fast twitch is better typically at running faster, jumping higher, and being more agile. But the point is, we do have to play with, there's a great line in Troy where the guy talking to Achilles says, we all use the tools the gods give us. I said that wrong, but we have to play within the confines of the gifts and talents that we are given and/or have received or have cultivated. And the reason that's important is because the reality of everything of value is based on exclusion is always there, or based on disparity. It's always there. People that go to country clubs, they don't go to country clubs because they're racist and because they don't like people. They go to country clubs because they want the exclusivity and they want the ability to be around people that are at their income level, not only because culturally they're probably the same, but there's also the mechanism too of business interactions. There's actually a church in my hometown. It's a great church, but there's a huge culture of business networking within that church. And even within it, it's based on exclusion, because it's a certain level, it's a certain group, you got to get in. They don't keep people out per se, but you have to get into the group unofficially to start reaping the rewards or benefiting from the fruits of it. This is important because you can't, in the Christian world, it's been said, you can't be so heavenly minded, you're not earthly good, you're no of earthly value. That's kind of a bad way to say it, but the truth is, you have to do the best you can with the gifts that you are given. Martin Luther King said, if I cannot do great things, I will do small things in a great way. I don't think I said that wrong. I could have. I'm not really sure. But I'll say that again. If I cannot do great things, I will do small things in a great way. That is the heart of a humble man. That is the heart of a winner. That is and it's really the heart of a champion. Guys, I'll tell you right now, you can look at any sports team throughout history. You can look at any successful franchise. There's a lot more champion role players than there are champion superstars. Fact. There's a lot more Kevin McHale's, Robert Parrish's, Kurt Rambis, I believe was his name, for the Lakers. There's a lot more role players that are champions than there are superstars. You got to get in where you fit in, okay? And you have to understand that everything of value is based on exclusion. We have a great winter this year in Indiana where we're at, which we haven't had one like this in probably 10 years, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But the guys and gals that are out here with snow plows, I know a guy that made $1,000 3 days ago within 2 hours just plowing driveways. It's based on the exclusion. He has the snow plow, I don't. Could I go get one? Sure, but I don't. So who do you think they're paying? Hey, Zach, you don't have a snow plow, but I really want to give you my money. I know it's going to take you 4 hours to do it. I'd have to probably pay you about 10 times what I'm paying this guy with the plow, but we want you instead. It doesn't work that way. Nothing does. Nothing does. We have to stop telling our children they can do anything. It isn't true. It is false on so many levels. We have to stop telling people you can do anything. That isn't true. That's a false statement. Everything is based on exclusion. Everything of value is based on exclusion. And what you have to do is you have to humble yourself and put yourself in a position to where you can, in the midst of exclusion, make yourself valuable so that you can get in where you fit in and be successful. I have a friend of mine who makes a lot of money yearly because he travels so much. He's willing to drive. I think I put a lot of miles on my car. He puts like 5,000 miles a month on his car. And guess what? He makes good money because he's great at his job and he's willing to take that beating of a lifestyle. Guess what? He makes the money to do that because most people aren't. Most people, I don't want to be gone 4 nights a week from my family. I want to be home. I don't want to do this. You can keep your 150 grand a year. I don't want that. It's based on exclusion. Exclusion's everywhere. It isn't just like, well, you're not going to play in the NBA, so you won't be in the NBA. Exclusion's everywhere. There's a lot of people that don't want to facilitate his job. There's truckloads of men who don't want to do what I do because it's too physical. It's all exclusive, guys. Everything of value is based on exclusion, and it goes in a lot of different directions. There's a reason why most women choose to work in occupations that are lower paid than with the occupations that a lot of men do. Many times because a lot of times women like to work in a certain environment as opposed to beating the bushes, going out and selling, hitting the road. Now, the women that do take on a male's occupation, they tend to be better than the male. Actually, my wife's company, she works for a medical device company. I believe the regional director is a female, and she's crushing the game. And her top salespeople beneath her are all females. They're crushing the game. So when a woman, in my experience, I come from sales, it's anecdotal, but in my experience, my truth. When a woman steps into the field that a man typically steps in and actually can facilitate the role and isn't uncomfortable and is willing to do the work at the rate necessary to succeed, they tend to exceed the male. But most women don't want to do that. They want to be in customer service. They want to be nurses. They want to do these occupations where they get to feel better about what they're doing. Most men don't. Most men are like, just pay me. But even then, even in that situation, there's a lot of males that refuse to pick up a chainsaw and go cut a tree down for $1,000. There's a lot of men. I got a good buddy of mine who's an HVAC guy. I know more guys that would refuse to be in the HVAC profession, even though my buddy's going to make about $80,000 a year here in 2 years after school's done. Guys, everything of value is based on exclusion. It's based on whether you are excluded yourself by your own choice and or another person's choice based on your ability. And this is important. It sounds dark, it sounds cruel, but it's not. If you can figure that out, it will allow you to find your place amongst the tribe so that you can then begin to build success and network with others and then possibly supersede and exceed This is powerful. Exceed your position, exceed your status that you were naturally born into. But you cannot do that until you first learn and understand that everything is based on exclusion. There's actually a great statement. It was in a Nick Cannon movie. I think it was Drumline. But his professor, his teacher said, before you can lead, you must first learn how to follow. And that is true. And that's basically what I'm saying. Guys, before you can really change reality, before you really can do everything that you want to do within reason, you do have to understand that there's a lot that you are just precluded from doing because you don't have the gifting, you don't have the athleticism, you don't have the looks, you don't have the talent, you don't have the skill. That's okay. What you do have is something that others are excluded from that can make you successful. And you have to understand that. If you don't understand that, all you're doing is just spinning your wheels, doing dumb shit. And you're probably not going to succeed. You know, there's a great, in the book Art of War, Sun Tzu, it says, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. I've said this before. If you know yourself and know not your enemy, for every victory gained, you will suffer a defeat. If you know not yourself and you know not your enemy, you will succumb in every engagement, every battle. We have to know ourselves. We have to know where we stand and the ability that we have, okay? Everything, guys, of value is based on exclusion. It isn't racist. It isn't sexist. It isn't classist, if I said that right. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And if you don't think that, start writing letters to all the NBA teams and say, you know what we need? We need more short white guys in the NBA because this isn't right. We need more fat people in the NFL who can't run, who can't block, who can't live, because this isn't right. This is too exclusive. No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. Everything of value is based on exclusion. This is a reality of our universe, and it's okay. Again, it's not racist, it's not sexist, it's not classist, it's not homophobic, it's not white nationalist, it's not imperialist, it's nothing. It's just the reality of the universe. I was born with a gift, with gifts and skill sets that are within me that are different from even my brothers, and yet others were born. One of my good friends growing up is Sudanese, 6'6". He played D1 basketball. He was born with the ability to do that, okay? I was not. That's why he went and played basketball, and that's why I went this way and didn't play basketball. It's okay, guys, but we have to know that for ourselves. Everything of value is, in fact, based on exclusion. And exclusion, again, isn't necessarily someone telling you no. Exclusion is also us saying no to ourselves. There's a lot of people out here, guys, that are living in a trailer that they bought for $50,000 that's very nice, very clean. It's got a hot tub. Well, not a hot tub, but it's got a tub that's Whirlpool. It's super clean. Guys, they're in a castle in their mind. They're living on the hog. They're living the dream. I'm not interested in that. I think that's a pretty bad idea. I wouldn't mind owning a trailer and renting it out to somebody, but I don't want to live in a trailer. But I'm actually, that rule of everything of value is based on exclusion is actually pertinent even in that situation, because I'm choosing to not live in something that someone else finds as valuable. Therefore, we aren't on the same page. So in their eyes, what is valuable is not valuable to me. And in my eyes, what's valuable isn't valuable to them. Everything of value is based on exclusion. You must understand that. For when you understand that, you can find your place in the equation the equation of society, of your town, of your city, of your state, whatever. And you can then proceed to build wealth for yourself. If you've liked the content, like, share, subscribe. If you've hated it, send it to someone you hate.